We are glad to present our work on robotic-assisted medical systems, specifically focusing on medical instrument planning and execution using mixed reality. In modern medical procedures, a variety of instruments such as scalpels, scissors, and drills are commonly used to complete various tasks. Increasingly, robotic systems are being incorporated to assist operators in using these instruments. Medical instruments can be readily mounted on robotic manipulators and controlled through these systems to improve the precision and stability. Traditional robotic systems allow for input from the human operator, such as manipulation commands. However, this input is unidirectional and there are no cues provided about the robot's trajectory, which can lead to suboptimal instrument placement or unintended collisions. Therefore, it's worth showing the intent of the robot and allowing the operator to fully evaluate its movement and instrument placement. Likewise, conveying the status of the operator, such as the operator's position, to the robot can further enhance the robot trajectory planning scheme and improve safety. Therefore, to fully bridge the gap between humans and robots and ease the use of robotic systems, we propose to combine mixed reality with human-robot mutual perception to construct an intuitive and safe human-robot interface. Additionally, to facilitate the overlay of virtual scenes onto the real world, an easy-to-implement method for virtual-to-real calibration is developed. Before delving into the proposed framework, we'd like to introduce transcranial magnetic stimulation, TMS, which is one of our motivating applications. TMS uses repetitive magnetic pulses to induce currents in brain nerves and is a common non-invasive technique in neuroscience and neurology research. The typical procedure involves placing a coil over the patient's head to generate magnetic pulses. With the aid of a robot, the coil can be held precisely and stably, thus mitigating the surgeon's fatigue and improving patients' outcomes. In the following sections, we show the system diagram using robotic-assisted TMS as an example. The first module is the instrument placement planner that helps the operator define the anatomical target on the patient's body and serves as the prerequisite to command the robot. It overlays anatomical imaging on the patient's body and allows the operator to define the target of interest using a handheld device. The demo on the right shows the operator using a clicker to define the position of interest. The brain MRI is segmented and will be highlighted once the probe of the clicker points toward that region. This allows the operator to have a clear view of the brain structure. Additionally, the operator can use the clicker to fine-tune the target after selection. Once the target is determined, the desired pose of the instrument can be calculated. The next module is the robot programming interface that can present the robot's intent to the operator. It receives the final pose of the medical instrument and plans the robot trajectory accordingly. The operator can preview the trajectory overlaid on the real world and determine whether it is feasible or not. By knowing the planned trajectory in advance, the operator can therefore evaluate how appropriate the placement is and choose to execute it or replan a new trajectory. We expect that incorporating the operator's information into the virtual scene could further enhance the safety of human-robot collaboration. Thus, we made our collision object converter to convey the status of the operator to the robot. It captures the operator's motion and maps it onto a customized avatar through the headset. The avatar then could be converted to collision objects for the robot. Therefore, when the robot is planning the trajectory, it would take the operator into consideration and avoid collision. By incorporating these three modules, we end up with a complete picture of the system. It bridges the human and the robot through mixed reality and allows mutual perception between humans and robots. It not only allows humans to understand the intent of the robot, like instrument placement and robot trajectory, but also lets the robot know the status of the human, such as motion and pose. Mixed reality provides informative feedback to both humans and robots and eases the use of the robotic system. The system consists of multiple components that include the headset, MRI, handheld device, and robot. In order to manage the kinematic chain, we attached optical markers to each component and used an external tracking system to track those markers. Different calibration and registration algorithms are applied to acquire the transformation between the marker and the component. Among them, we use an easy-to-implement method to find the transformation from the virtual world to the tracking system. The left figure denotes the kinematics chain of the virtual-to-real calibration method. The objective here is to find the transformation from the virtual world coordinate to the tracking system. We need to first calculate the transformation between the headset and the optical marker fixed on the headset. We use a reference marker and a computer vision method to construct a closed kinematic chain to calculate the first unknown transformation. Multiple measurements are collected and averaged to obtain it. Eventually we can derive the target transformation. Since the first transformation is physically fixed, we could do virtual to-real calibration once and reuse it in any other new applications. We evaluated the feasibility of the system in 2 robotic-assisted procedures with a phantom setup. The first case is the aforementioned robotic-assisted TMS. The second case is robotic-assisted femoroplasty and needs to position a custom-designed robotic drilling and injection device to the injection point. The average translation errors of TMS and femoroplasty are both below 2 mm, while the average rotation errors are both below 0.6 degrees. In this work we propose a novel robotic-assisted medical system framework using mixed reality to facilitate the planning and execution of medical instrument placement. An easy-to-implement calibration technique is also presented to align virtual content with the real world accurately. The system was verified through its application in 2 medical scenarios, robot-assisted TMS and femoroplasty. The results demonstrate the system's practical viability and its potential for broader application in various robotic-assisted medical system contexts. Since the current work only presents a technical pilot study, a detailed user study is required to thoroughly validate the robustness and efficacy of the proposed framework. Further improvements are worth exploring, such as developing multimodal input and feedback for the handheld device and enhancing the robustness of the trajectory planning process that considers the dynamic nature of human motions.